The Veiled Stranger. The colony was small, built on the edge of a red desert planet. Humans had arrived only a few years ago, trying to create a new home among the stars. Life was harsh, water was rare, but they had survived with courage and hard work. Yet there was something in the colony that no one could ignore. A giant woman taller than any human, stronger than any soldier, but always hidden beneath layers of veils and heavy cloth. No one had ever seen her face. No one had ever seen her skin. She walked in silence, her shadow stretching long over the dusty ground. Children whispered stories about her. They said her face was burned in some old war. Others claimed she was cursed, and that her true form would bring bad luck. The adults were no better. They looked at her with suspicion, sometimes with fear. They called her the Veiled Stranger, because no one knew her name. She lived in a broken metal hut at the edge of the settlement. Far from the laughter of the market, far from the warmth of the fire pits, she worked alone, carrying heavy stones, digging wells, repairing old machines. No one dared to help her. No one dared to speak with her except one. A young human named Liam. He was not a soldier, not a leader, just a worker who fixed pipes and solar panels. But Liam was different. He noticed the things others ignored. He noticed how the giant always moved carefully, how she made sure not to scare the children, how she often left food near the sickbay door, never waiting to be thanked. Liam's curiosity grew stronger each day. Why did she hide? What was she afraid of? He tried to greet her once, just a simple hello, but she turned away, her voice low and heavy. "Stay back," she said. "You do not want to see me?" Those words only made him more curious. Liam could feel there was pain behind the veil. Not danger, he could feel there was a story untold. One evening, while the suns were setting and the desert sky turned gold, Liam saw her sitting near the cliffs, her giant frame still like a statue. He gathered his courage and walked closer. "Why do you hide?" he asked softly. "Why do you cover yourself?" The giant did not move at first for a long moment. Liam thought she would not answer, but then her voice came like the sound of distant thunder. "Because the truth is too heavy for your eyes. My scars are not for you to carry." Liam's heart shook. He had seen soldiers with scars. He had seen workers with broken hands. Scars did not scare him, but the way she said it, with so much weight, so much sorrow, it felt like the scars were deeper than flesh. In the days that followed, Liam watched her more closely, not with fear like the others, but with quiet respect. He saw how she carried the heaviest load so others would not struggle. He saw how she worked in the night, fixing broken fences to keep predators away. She never asked for thanks, she never asked for company. Still her veil remained always thick, always hiding. The colony began to spread new rumors. They said she was not scarred. They said she was a monster under the cloth, that her skin was filled with poison, that her eyes glowed with fire. Liam refused to believe it. One night he followed her again to the cliffs. The stars above were bright and the air was quiet. "You are not a monster," he said firmly. "You are not cursed." The giant turned to him, the veil shifting slightly in the desert wind. "You do not know," she said. "You do not understand what lies beneath." Liam stepped closer, though his heart beat fast. "Then show me," he whispered. "Show me the truth." The giant's hands trembled. For the first time, her silence broke into something sharp, almost angry. "No," she thundered. "If I show you, you will turn away like the others. You will fear me, and I cannot bear that again." Her words echoed across the empty desert. Liam felt the pain inside them. A pain not of anger, but of deep loneliness. He could see now behind the veil was not only scars, but a broken trust. A wound deeper than any cut. The giant stood, taller than the towers of the colony, her voice low but steady. "You will learn, human. Some truths are better hidden. Some scars are too heavy for the world to see." She walked away, her steps shaking the ground, leaving Liam staring after her, his chest filled with questions, his mind burning with curiosity. As the night grew darker, Liam whispered to himself, "I don't believe that. No scar is too heavy for humanity." He did not know yet, but that small spark of determination would soon change everything. It would uncover the truth behind the veils. It would test the meaning of scars, and it would decide the bond between humanity and the veiled stranger. And somewhere in the distance, the desert winds carried a warning. Change was coming, and the veil would not stay forever. Whispers of the scars. The colony was never quiet after the night on the cliffs. People had seen Liam speak with the veiled stranger, and rumors began to spread faster than desert wind. "He is cursed now," one woman said. "Whoever talks to her will carry her darkness." "No," another whispered. "Maybe he saw what is under the veil. Maybe it is true." Her skin is poison. But Liam kept working as before, repairing pipes, building solar towers, carrying water, his eyes often drifting to the edge of the settlement where her broken hut stood. Sometimes he saw her at night, walking in the sands alone, her veils shining faintly under the twin moons. She never looked at him again, never spoke, yet Liam felt she knew he was watching. Then came the day of the storm. The desert roared with fire winds, tearing roofs from huts, smashing walls. The people ran for shelter, but the water tanks broke loose, crashing down the slope. If they were lost, the colony would die of thirst. Before anyone could act, the giant appeared, her enormous hands gripping the heavy tanks, her body shielding the children from falling debris. She moved with speed that shook the earth, but the storm was cruel. A sharp metal beam tore through her sleeve, the cloth ripped, and for the first time the people saw a glimpse of her skin. Thick, marked with deep ridges, scars glowing faintly like fire lines. Gasps filled the air, some screamed, others turned away in fear. But the giant pulled her veil tighter and forced the tanks back into place. When the storm ended, the colony was saved, but the whispers grew darker. "I saw her arm," one miner hissed. "She is not like us. Her scars are alive. They burn like molten stone," another spat. "She is dangerous. She should be cast out." Liam could not bear it. He searched for her that night, found her sitting in the ruins of an old ship outside the colony, her back to him, her veil torn and stained. "They are afraid," she said before he could speak. Just like before, always afraid. Liam stepped closer, his voice steady. "Tell me, what happened to you?" For a long silence, she did not answer. Only the sound of desert winds filled the broken hull. But then slowly she began. "Long ago, I was not veiled. I was a warrior of my people. We fought against the Iron Legions, machines that burned our skies. I led the charge. I broke their walls, and in return, they broke me." Her voice trembled but did not fall. "Fire, metal, acid, they tried to erase me, but I lived. My people called me hero for one breath, then monster for the rest. They said I was too ugly to be remembered, too broken to lead, so I hid. I covered myself. I left them behind." Liam felt his chest tighten. He saw now the weight she carried was not only scars, but betrayal, the kind that cut deeper than blades. "Your scars are not shame," Liam said firmly. "They are proof you survived when no one else could." She turned slightly, the faint glow of her wounds visible in the shadows. "And yet when they see me, they fear, they recoil. Even now your people plot to drive me away." Liam wanted to argue, but he knew she was right even as they spoke. Torches burned in the colony. Voices shouted for her exile. The crowd was gathering strength. The giant rose, her shadow filling the broken ship. "They will come," she said. "And when they do, I will leave. I cannot fight them. I cannot bear their eyes again." Liam shook his head, his voice fierce. "No, you will not leave. You saved them today, and you will save them again. They need to see that truth." Her eyes, hidden behind the veil, studied him for a long time. "You are different, human, but one voice cannot silence many." Suddenly, a distant alarm cut through the night. The defense siren screamed, the colony wall shook. From the desert came shapes, machines. Old war drones still roaming, hunting survivors, their red lights glowing like demons. The crowd panicked, soldiers scrambled, but their guns were weak. The drones were too many. The giant turned toward the danger, her body tensing, her scars burning faintly under her cloth. "It seems fate has come to test me again," she said, her voice a low growl. Liam grabbed her arm. "Then show them who you really are." She stood tall, towering above him, her veil flapping in the hot wind. "If I do," she said slowly, "there will be no turning back." And with that, she began walking toward the colony walls, each step shaking the sand, the whispers of her scars now rising into the storm of battle to come. The veil torn away, the night was burning red. The war drones poured from the desert like a river of steel, their eyes glowing, their weapons flashing. They moved with no mercy, cutting through fences, tearing apart guard towers. The colony soldiers fired back, but their bullets bounced off armored shells. Panic spread like fire. Women and children screamed. Men shouted, chaos ruled the streets. And then she appeared, the veiled stranger, towering over all, her shadow stretching across the burning walls. The people froze, half in fear of the machines, half in fear of her. She walked slowly, each step firm, her hands clenched into fists. Liam followed close behind, shouting, "She is here to help us, trust her." But his voice was drowned in the storm of fear. "No," some cried. "She will bring more death. Her scars are cursed. Send her away," others yelled. Even as the machines broke closer, The giant ignored their words. Her gaze fixed on the red lights of the drones. She reached up and ripped away the last torn veil that covered her arms. The colony gasped. Her skin was a map of fire, scars glowing like molten rivers, wounds that never healed but pulsed with strange power. The children hid behind their mothers. The men gripped their weapons tighter. No one had ever seen such marks. The drones closed in. Their weapons raised, Liam shouted, "Fight them." But the giant hesitated, her voice low. "If I fight, they will see it all." Before he could answer, a drone fired, a blazing beam heading for a group of children. Without thinking, she leapt forward, her massive frame shielding them. The blast tore through her veil, ripping it apart, revealing her face. The crowd fell silent. Her face was scarred. Jagged lines ran across her cheeks. Her eyes burned like twin embers. Her jaw marked with deep wounds. She looked terrifying, yet unbroken. Gasps echoed. "Monster?" someone whispered. Another dropped his weapon, trembling. But the children under her arms did not cry. They looked up at her with wide eyes, alive because of her. She roared then, a sound that shook the ground, a sound filled with rage and sorrow. She picked up a broken steel beam and swung it like a sword, smashing the drones into pieces. Sparks flew, metal shattered. The soldiers paused, watching her tear through the machines with strength no human could match. Every scar glowed brighter with each strike, as if her wounds themselves fueled her fury, but with every blow the veil was gone. Every scar now visible, every truth revealed. The people could not look away. They saw not a monster but a warrior, broken yet unyielding. Her scars told of battles survived, of fire endured, of pain overcome. Still fear gripped them. Whispers spread. She cannot be trusted. She is too strong, too dangerous. Liam stepped forward, standing between her and the crowd, his voice fierce. "You call her monster, but she is saving your lives. Look at the truth, not the scars." The giant kept fighting, smashing drone after drone, blood dripping from her glowing wounds. Her breaths heavy, yet she did not stop. The last machine fell, its burning core sinking into the sand. Silence followed, broken only by the hiss of smoke. The giant stood in the middle of the battlefield, her scars shining in the firelight, her veil gone forever. The crowd watched, torn between fear and awe, some still trembling, some weeping with relief. She lowered her weapon, her voice low and tired. "Now you have seen. Now you know why I hide." The people said nothing, their eyes wide, their hearts unsure. But Liam walked to her side, his voice clear. "Your scars do not make you less, they make you more. Stronger than all of us." The giant looked down at him, her ember eyes softening for the first time. "And yet they will never accept me." In the silence, a child's small voice rose. "I accept you." And others followed, some timid, some brave. But their words cracked the wall of fear. Yet in the shadows of the desert, more red lights flickered. The first wave of drones was only a warning. The true storm was still coming. The giant raised her scarred hands, her eyes burning bright. "Then they will see all of me," she said, "and this time, the veil will never return." Humanity's embrace, the colony did not sleep that night. The battlefield still smoked. Broken drones scattered like bones in the sand. The people huddled together, whispering about what they had seen. Some whispered in fear. "Her scars burn like fire. She is not one of us." Others whispered in awe. "She saved our children. She fought when no one else could." But the giant did not wait for their judgment. She walked to the broken gates, her massive frame outlined against the desert sky, her wounds glowing faintly. Liam followed her, his voice urgent. "They need you, don't turn away now." She paused, her deep voice heavy. "They will never see me as you do. Human. They will remember the scars, not the strength." Liam shook his head. "Then we will teach them. They saw you fight, they saw your heart. Give them a chance." Behind them, the colony chief arrived, a stern man, his soldiers armed. "The council will decide," he said coldly. "You saved us, but you are dangerous. The people must vote if you stay." The giant lowered her head. Silent, Liam clenched his fists. "She is the reason we are alive. You can't send her away." The chief gave no answer, only turned and walked back to the square, preparing the gathering as dawn broke. The colony filled the square. Torches burned, faces tense, whispers loud. The giant stood apart, her scars exposed for all. Some people refused to look, others stared too long, torn between fear and gratitude. The chief raised his hand. "She is strong, but her scars bring fear. Do we accept her among us, or do we cast her out?" Before anyone could answer, a child ran forward, the same one she had saved. Holding a broken doll, the girl placed it at the giant's feet and whispered, "Thank you." The silence cracked. More children stepped forward, some carrying small gifts, bread, flowers, scraps of cloth. They gathered around her towering frame, unafraid, their voices small but clear. "Don't go," the crowd murmured. Hearts softening, the mothers wept. The fathers lowered their weapons. The giant looked down at the children, her ember eyes flickering, her voice trembling for the first time. "You are not afraid." Liam stepped forward, his voice loud. "See them. See their courage. Scars do not frighten them. Why should they frighten you for a moment?" The colony wavered, the tide shifting toward hope. But before the decision could be made, the warning siren screamed again. Red lights lit the horizon. The second wave of drones approached. Larger, heavier, armored like beasts. The chief shouted, "To the walls, prepare to fight!" Panic spread again. Soldiers scrambled, civilians screamed. The giant's scars glowed brighter, her body trembling with power. She turned to Liam, her voice low but steady. "This is no longer about trust. This is survival." Liam nodded, his heart pounding. "Then fight with us, not for us. Let them see you as one of us." The giant stepped to the center of the square. Raising her scarred hands high, her voice thundered, "I will not hide anymore if you want me gone. Then after this battle you may send me away, but tonight, I fight as one of you." The people froze, the sound of her voice shaking the ground. And in that moment something shifted. Soldiers raised their weapons beside her. Civilians formed lines to carry ammo and water. The colony that once feared her now stood at her back. The gates burst open. The drones stormed in. Roaring with machine fury, the battle began. The giant tore through the first line, her scars blazing, her hands crushing steel. But this wave was stronger. Their weapons heavier, beams tearing through buildings. Smoke covering the air, the soldiers fought with her. Liam at the front shouting orders. His voice raw but determined, the colony fought as one, no longer divided by fear but united by survival. Yet the battle was brutal. The giant stumbled, blood dripping from fresh wounds. Liam ran to her side shouting, "Stay up! They need you." She looked down at him, her ember eyes dimming. "You fight like a warrior, human. Your courage is greater than my strength." He gritted his teeth. "No, your strength is what gives us courage. Together we can win." Her scars blazed brighter than ever, fire lines pulsing like living light. She roared and rose again, her body a wall of fury. Smashing drone after drone, the people saw, and for the first time, they did not whisper monster. They shouted her name, not knowing her true one, but giving her one now. Guardian. The word echoed across the square, growing louder, carried by every voice. Guardian. Guardian. Her eyes burned with tears. Hidden behind the glow of battle, she had been called monster. Cursed, broken, but never guardian. The last drone fell, its burning core exploding in the sands. Silence followed. Heavy but alive, the colony stood together, scarred but unbroken. The giant lowered herself, breathing hard, her body shaking, but her voice steady. "You chose to stand with me, and I chose to stand with you. From this day, my scars belong not only to me, but to all of us," the crowd roared. Fear broken, hearts lifted, and for the first time, the veiled stranger was no longer veiled. No longer stranger, but far in the desert. Beyond the smoke, a darker shadow stirred. The machines had masters, and those masters had seen everything. Scars of honor. The colony was still cheering when the ground began to shake. The sound deeper, heavier than before, far across the desert. Black shapes rose like mountains moving. The true enemy was coming. Not mindless drones, but war machines led by masters of steel. The sky darkened as massive carriers floated above, their shadows swallowing the sun. Engines roared like thunder. Weapons glowed red. This was not a raid. It was an extermination. Fear returned. The people clutched their children. Soldiers looked at their weak guns and knew they could not stop this army. Hope began to crack again, but the giant stepped forward, her body scarred, her wounds still bleeding. Yet her eyes burned brighter than the rising sun. She lifted her voice, heavy and powerful. "This is no longer their fight, it is mine." Liam grabbed her arm, shaking his head. "No, you're not alone anymore. We fight together." She looked down at him, her ember eyes soft but firm. "You gave me back my name, Guardian, but my scars were made for this day. I cannot run from what I am." The chief, once doubtful, now raised his weapon. "You will not fight alone, Guardian. If we die, we die beside you," the people roared. Their fear turning into fire, they formed lines, ready to stand even against impossible odds. The war machines approached, massive claws tearing through the sand, cannons charging. The colony walls trembled. Then the giant stepped forward, planting her feet deep in the ground. her scars blazing like rivers of fire. The glow spread across her entire body until she looked like a living star. Liam stared in awe. "What is happening to you?" Her voice shook the desert. "My scars were never wounds alone, they are fire marks. Each one a gift from battle survived. Pain turned into power, now you will see them not as shame, but as honor." She raised her arms, and the fire inside her burst outward. A storm of burning light, a shield that covered the colony. The first blasts from the enemy cannons slammed into her but dissolved in the glow. The soldiers and civilians gasped, protected by her very scars. The marks once hated, now their salvation. The machines charged, but she roared and struck back, every blow of her fist sending shockwaves. Drones exploded, carriers shook in the sky. The desert lit up as if a sun had landed among them, but the enemy masters were cruel. They unleashed their largest weapon, a titan of steel towering even higher than her, its voice a metallic growl. "You should have died long ago. Broken one," the giant faced it, her body blazing. "I survived then, and I will survive now." The battle was like gods clashing, her fists against steel, her scars glowing brighter with each strike. The titan crushed her into the ground, but she rose again, roaring, her fire burning through its armor. Liam and the colony fought around her, shooting drones, carrying the wounded, shouting her new name. "Guardian! Guardian!" Their voices shaking the air. Finally, with one last cry, she drove her blazing hand into the titan's core. The explosion ripped across the desert, fire and smoke swallowing the sky. When the flames cleared, the titan was ash, the machines retreating. Their masters silent, the battle was over. The colony stood in stunned silence, staring at the giant, her body covered in glowing scars, her chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. She fell to one knee, exhausted but alive. Liam ran to her, shouting, "You did it, you saved us." She looked at him, her ember eyes softer than ever. "No, we did it together. Your voices gave me strength, your trust gave me fire. These scars are not my burden anymore, they are our honor." The chief raised his weapon high, shouting, "To the Guardian," the crowd echoed. Louder and louder. To the Guardian the giant stood. No veil, no shame. Her scars shining like banners of victory. She was no longer the veiled stranger. She was their protector, their hero. And as the desert wind carried the chants across the stars, the masters of steel retreated but not defeated. Far away they planned, whispering, "The scarred one lives, and humanity stands with her." The war was not over, but something greater had begun. A bond written not in fear but in scars of honor.